Good morning, children. Welcome to history class. See, in the last class, we finished third unit in history, and now we shall move to civics. The third unit in civics, that is about human rights. This chapter uh, will be learning about what are the steps which are taken on an international level to protect human rights. Human rights in Tamil we say Manida Urimaigal. Okay, to protect the human rights, what are the efforts which are taken on an international, on a global basis, and what are the steps that are taken by the Indian government which ensures the human rights to be enjoyed by all the citizens of a country. And not only that, what are the institutions which function to see that the human rights are enforced in India, and what are the different types of human rights. These are the topics we will be discussing in this chapter. And before going into the topic, see, why should there come an organization to protect human rights? We need to understand that first. Okay, what is the need for protecting human rights? When such an idea of bringing human rights, taking up this human rights as a very big topic, okay, and seeing that the protection of the human rights should be done on an international basis, how did this type of thought provoke in people's mind to bring out the various rights which are related to human rights? See, I shall just tell you a very small story. Once, in a place called as Pretoria in South Africa, okay, a man, he was traveling in a train. The train consisted of first class compartment, second class, and a separate coupe where the class is not mentioned and the commoners were traveling. Okay, so the fares were also based accordingly. For the first class, the fare was very high. The second class, it was considerably less when compared to the first class fare, and the third class, okay, the common class, it was particularly meant for people who have below that is the average income earners, okay, who cannot afford the first and second class. They were traveling in the common common compartment, okay, which was a nominal fare. So one person, he was traveling in the first class compartment in the train in a place called as Pretoria. It is in South Africa. And as the train moved on, okay, the compartment was started. It started at each station. The train was filled by few of the passengers, and while reaching a place called as Pietermaritzburg, okay, the people who were in the first class compartment thought that this particular individual, okay, who was not a non-white person, is traveling in the first class compartment. So these whites, they did not want this non-white, okay, you cannot call him as black also, okay, they did not want this non-white man to travel along with them in the first class compartment. But this non-white man has purchased the first class ticket fare. He has paid for that, and he is showing that he has paid money for traveling in this first class compartment. But these people did not want him to travel along with the whites. Okay, so they thought that, okay, it is below their dignity to travel, okay, or to stay with a non-white individual. And it was a very peak winter season. This non-white man, he was pushed out of the compartment, and he was in a particular station. I think the station name is Pietermaritzburg. And the whole night he was sitting in the waiting hall of the station room, and he was literally wondering why he has been thrown out of the compartment. Okay, he has bought the fare which is due to travel in a first class compartment, and he was also educated, okay, had a good social living status. Okay, still, what was the reason for him to be thrown out of the compartment? When he analyzed that, he was able to understand that it is only because of the racial discrimination, that he is being discriminated based on the color, which you call it as racial discrimination. Okay, because of this racism, he was being thrown out of the compartment. So he thought that he has to take up this issue, okay, and see that there is no discrimination based on caste, color, creed, gender. religion, okay, or by birth. Okay, so this such a sort of discrimination should not exist in the world, because there arose that particular instinct has made the man fight for racial discrimination. Okay, fight for human rights, because any person who is born in this earth, okay, has to enjoy certain rights which is conferred upon a human being. Just because he is a human being, he has to be given certain rights. Okay, here the rights, this should not depend on the place of birth or the caste or the religion where he is born. Okay, so taking up this issue, this man fought for this racial discrimination, against the racial discrimination, and he grew out to be successful also. He took up the tool non-violence as a tool to fight against the racial discrimination. He was none other than Mahatma Gandhi, okay, who was in South Africa when he was doing his barrister course, when he was doing his law degree. And you could see in this picture, okay, it was in 7th June 1893, the incident which happened in the train. Because of that, he was just thrown out of the train and he was evicted out of the first class compartment, and this created an instinct in him to fight against the racial discrimination. Okay, so from there is an inscription which is being kept in the railway station in Pretoria itself. So that was the origin of bringing up of human rights, or conferring human rights for all the individuals in a country. So United Nations organization, it was started in the year 1945, where it gave importance for human rights. What is human right? The right inherent to all human beings, regardless of race, gender, nationality, ethnicity, language, religion, and other status. Everyone is entitled to these rights without discrimination. Now let us learn phrase by phrase. What is human rights? Every human being should have human rights. Okay, regardless of, there should not be anything, whether you can belong to any race. You can be black, white, whitish color, very white in color, okay, or you can be pitch dark. Okay, all of them enjoy the same human rights. Despite of gender, you can belong to any gender, male, female, transgender, you are given the same right. Nationality, you can belong to any country. Ethnicity, you can follow any ethnicity, any culture. Next, language, religion, you can belong to any status. You can be a rich man, poor man, or a mediocre man. Everyone is entitled to human rights without any discrimination. All of them should have can enjoy the human rights without discrimination. Discrimination means what? In Tamil you call it as pagupadu. Okay, pagupadindri, everyone will be getting the human rights. This is according to the UNO. UNO defines human rights as this. Suppose if any person is not conferred the human rights, they can take legal action against the individual who is not showing the discrimination. So the Human Rights Day is celebrated every year on 10th December. Underline this. And the United Nations organization, which was formed on 24th October 1945, after the Second World War it formed, and consequently the consequences of the war, it paved the way for the for the constitution of the conferring of the human rights for the individuals. And 24th October is celebrated as UNO Day. And the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, okay, it plays a very crucial role in promoting the human rights for individuals all over the world rather. The apartheid problem, it was one of the apartheid means again racial discrimination. It existed in South Africa, and in South Africa there were few white people and majority were the blacks only, that is non-white people. But the people, South African people, they protested against the racial discrimination, and it was Nelson Mandela, who raised his voice against the apartheid. Apartheid means racial discrimination, discriminating people based on color. Okay, you call it as Niraveri. In Tamil you call it as Niraveri, that is discriminating a person based on his color. And the government also, he was a person who was raising campaigns against the government, and there was so much of domestic and international pressures, okay, because of the protests which was raised by Nelson Mandela, and by the efforts which were taken by Nelson Mandela and the then president, who was D. Clark. Okay, in 1994, a multiracial general election it was held, and a Congress, National Congress Commission was formed, and the African National Congress was formed, and Nelson Mandela became the first president of the African National Congress, which mainly fought against racial discrimination. And again, the Universal Declaration, the Declaration of Human Rights, it is a legal document. It is just a milestone in the history of human rights. Okay, it was drafted by the representatives from belonging to different sectors of the world. The people from different legal sectors, from the good cultural backgrounds, and from all over the world, they were the people who drafted this declaration, Universal Declaration on Human Rights. And the declaration, it was proclaimed, it was announced by the United Nations General Assembly in Paris in the year 1948, and as a common standard for achieving human rights for all the people all over the world. And this human rights declaration, it was translated into many languages. Okay, there are almost 30 articles in this Declaration of Human Rights, and it guarantees freedom of expressing your thoughts, as well as it gives civil freedom. We will be seeing all those in the coming topics. Okay, it gives human rights on various categories, which we shall see now. And it gives social, economic and cultural rights. Social rights means, it means there is no restriction for any individual to live in any place in a country. You should not discriminate a person to participate in the activities of the society. Next is economic rights, which means any person who is working should be paid the right amount of money or remuneration for the work he does. Cultural discrimination. Cultural rights means any individual has got the right to follow any culture. Okay, and any culture which he wishes, or any religion that he wishes. Civil and political rights means civil rights, it means all of them can take part in the political activities regardless of the race, nationality, color, gender, age, religion. Anyone who is willing to take part in political activities, you call it as civic and political rights. And all these rights are administered by the government, and all these are given to all the citizens of a country. By law, they can enforce all these rights, and these rights gives the power to the citizen. For what reason? To participate either directly or indirectly in the administration of a country. Now, what are the various rights which are conferred? The human rights so far we saw is that let us see everything in depth here. What are the fundamental rights which are conferred to all the individuals in India? When we look into the fundamental rights, okay, see, why do we need fundamental rights? Fundamental rights, basically, it is required for the overall development, for the holistic development of human beings. See, only when you are given a sort of rights and duties to you, you will be able to work to the best of your potential, and to make the life of the people meaningful. Okay, you have to be given certain amount of rights, and you should be given freedom. Only then you will be able to live your life in a meaningful manner. For those reasons only, these fundamental rights were enacted. What are the fundamental rights? You have got 6 fundamental rights. Okay, right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of conscience and religion, and educational rights and constitutional remedies. Now we shall see what are those individually. First is right to equality. Every person in India, okay, is equal before law. Okay, and they have to be protected by law on an equality basis only. Okay, prohibition or discrimination should not be made, okay, based on their religion or caste. Everyone is equal before law. If a person who is a black takes up a case and goes to the court of law, he should be treated in the same way as a white person goes to the court of law. And just look into the picture. Okay, it means all are equal before the law. It means all of them should be given the opportunity, okay, to here it is witnessing some game. Okay, everyone should be given equal opportunity. The first picture, it shows that all of them are given equal level of platforms or stools. Okay, platforms or some sort of height adjustment thing, where they are made to stand on that particular platform. But when you see that here, the tall man will be able to watch the match even without the help of that platform. So in the second picture, when you see, all of them are enjoying the match. Here, where is equality observed, in the first picture or in the second picture? Second picture only you are observing the equality, because where does the help is needed only for the short person. So he requires two levels of platform to reach the level of the tall man. So equality is observed only in the second case, not in the first case. Next is right to freedom. There are 6 types of freedom which is mentioned in the Constitution, which is being given for every individual. The first freedom is freedom of speech and expression. Every individual should be given the right to speak or give out his expression, give out his ideas or opinion. Next is freedom to assemble peacefully without arms. You can form groups, okay, for any reason. You can assemble, but there should not be any arms. You should assemble without any weapons. Okay, if people gather together with weapons, it is offense. Okay, you can gather together for a common purpose, or for a happy occasion, or for a sad occasion. There is the human rights gives freedom for that, but it should be on a peaceful manner. Next is freedom to form associations and unions. See, to obtain the benefits of collective working, you are given the right to form association, and you are given the right to form unions also. That is why we have got unions everywhere. Consumers forum we have, okay, we have the trade unions, okay, labor unions, okay, for everywhere we have unions. For an auto rickshaw driver, you have union for them. Even for people who are working as maid, you have a union for them. For lawmakers, that is for lawyers, you have a union. For doctors, you have a union. For teachers, you have a union. Okay. Next is freedom to reside and settle in any part of India. Every individual should be given the freedom. Wherever in any part of India, he has got the right to move and settle. No one can say that a Tamilian should not come and settle in Delhi, or a person who speaks Hindi should not come and settle in Tamil Nadu. No one can deny that right. Next is freedom to move freely throughout the territory of India. The same thing, whatever the previous, according like settling and moving is also freedom should be given. We can move to any part of the country. See, that is the reason why tourism is developing so well. Okay, because we travel from one place to another to see the beauties all around the world. Freedom to practice any profession and carry on any occupation, trade or business. Everyone should be given the right, okay, to practice any profession, okay, or they can do any type of occupation preferred, okay, it is legally approved by the government. Next is right against exploitation. It is a right against, it is against the law to employ the children who are below the age of 14 years. Where the children who are below the age of 14 years should not be made to work in mines, factories or any other occupation. Suppose if we find any worker employing a child, immediately it can be reported to the child helpline, where action will be taken against the employer for employing a child into work. Okay, so no one should be forced to do work which is against their will. Next is right to freedom of conscience and religion. See, every individual has got the right to follow any type of religion that he wishes. Okay, no one can force a person to follow this particular religion. You have to follow only the ideals of Christianity or the principles of Islamism. No one can force other person to follow the religion that they wanted to. So every individual has got the right to follow any religion of their choice. Next is cultural and educational rights. Likewise, our constitution also gives rights to protect, preserve and promote our culture. We know our Indian culture and tradition is deep rooted, and it is our duty to promote our culture and to preserve our culture and take it to the next level generation also. So we have got right to preserve, protect and promote our culture. Likewise, we have to respect the other religious cultures also. We should not prevent, the government also provides not facilities, I would say, encourages the promotion of other religious cult also. They give it gives grants for the promotion of cultural activities. Okay, no one can deny the admission of any, see, just because this person is belonging to this particular community or color, he should not be given the religious rights. Okay. Next is the next topic is right to constitutional remedies. Suppose, for example, if any individual is being denied of any fundamental rights. Okay, see, for example, any student who has scored very good marks, but he has been denied the admission into a school or college just because he belongs to this community or he belongs to this particular caste. They can immediately take up this issue to the court of law, where the court will issue orders which we call it as a writ to the government, and it will restore the rights of that particular citizen. Then the government will send a notice to the concerned authority and see that that particular individual who is being discriminated based on caste or community is being given the proper right and being given whatever he wanted for. So it protects and safeguards the rights of all the individuals. Here you could see a small incident which has happened. Just a second, children, it went somewhere. I need page number. Yes, here we have an example of a transgender. Her name is Preetika Yashni. She won her right to employment. Okay, and but she was denied the employment just because she belonged to the third gender category. Now, see, according to the constitution, any citizen based on you can belong to any gender, whether male, female or transgender, you are given certain human rights where you can exercise human rights, okay, which is conferred on all the individuals irrespective of their gender. Now she took up this issue to the government, and the government has provided her remedies, constitutional remedies, and she was being given the job on which she was chosen, and where she was denied because she was belonged to the third gender category. So this you call it as rights to constitutional remedies. Now we have the difference between human rights and fundamental rights. What are human rights and what are fundamental rights? See, the rights that human beings deserve to survive in this world with respect and freedom. Okay, see, to live in this world, you need to live with some respect and little freedom is it. Those rights are called as human rights. Whereas fundamental rights means the rights of the citizen of India. As a citizen of India, you can enjoy certain rights, okay, which is listed by the constitution. Just because I love to sing loudly and dance and listen to the music with high volume, I cannot do that because I'll be disturbing my neighbor. So I've got right to listen music and enjoy the music, but at the same time, I should not cause disturbance to the other person. This comes under fundamental rights. Next is human rights includes those rights which are basic to real life and are absolute. That is, it cannot be taken away. Whatever is needed for human life, the real life living of a person, which is absolute, should be given. Without that, you cannot live. Such rights are called as human rights. But fundamental rights includes those rights which are needed for a normal living. Okay, to have a normal, see, you can survive by living in the forest also. You can survive without house, living in trees, on top of trees also you can survive. But this when we take as fundamental rights, every human being should be given a normal right to have a normal life. This is the right which is conferred as human rights. Next is fundamental rights are recognized at international levels, because we saw the issues raked up by Mahatma Gandhi and Nelson Mandela. So it is a topic of fundamental international issue which is taken at an international level. But fundamental rights are guaranteed under the constitution of a country. See, every country have got certain fundamental rights which is laid down by the constitution of that particular country. Okay, see, the constitutional rights of our country differs from the rights of some other country. Okay, so whatever is our fundamental rights are conferred by our government to our citizen. Okay, such rights are called as fundamental rights. Now, so far we saw what are the fundamental rights. That is, what are our urimegal, whatever the government gives us urimegal. Now it is a time for us to understand what are our duties towards our country. Okay, now so far we saw the rights what the government is giving us. Now we need to understand what is our duty as a citizen towards our country, which we call it as fundamental duties, that is kadamaigal. What is your responsibility towards your country? Now again, section the original constitution which came into force in January 26 January 1956 did not contain fundamental duties. Later on, in an amendment only, the 42nd amendment, which was made in 1976 only, it brought down certain fundamental duties. See, the government is giving you so much rights, is it? Then what are you going to do to your government? How are you going to be a good citizen towards your country? That is being specified in the 42nd Amendment in the year, which was the Amendment Act which was brought out in the year 1976. The first thing is, you need to respect your constitution, your ideals and the institutions. Okay, whatever we are following, our country we are following. See, our country follows a rich culture and we believe in certain things, is it? Non-violence, we believe in non-violence. It is an institution. Okay, institution here doesn't mean educational institution, financial institution. Certain beliefs that we as Indians we have taken. Next is, we need to respect our national flag and we need to respect our national anthem. This is the first duty as a citizen of India. We need to follow, we need to comply with these duties. Next is to follow, cherish the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom. See, this freedom we have not got it all of a sudden. It is the hard work and the efforts which are taken by our freedom fighters. Okay, they have undergone so much of mental, physical struggles. Then we have obtained this freedom. Now this freedom, okay, which is a gift to all to our present citizen, it should be cherished. Okay, and we need to follow whatever the noble ideals which was given by our freedom fighters. Those people who have been the inspiration for us should be recognized and we need to follow their noble ideals. Okay, that is the second duty that we need to do, to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. See, the integrity of India, the sovereignty. India is a country, you need to see, all of us see, if anyone talks bad about India, we should be the first person to uphold our sovereignty. Okay, that is also our right. Next is to defend the country and render national service when called upon. Whenever we have any threat from outsiders, it should be our bound duty to protect our country. We have to go forward, okay, to defend our country against our foreigners. Whenever we are called for any help, okay, it is our duty to go and help our country. Next, to promote harmony and spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people of India, transcending religion, linguistic, regional or sectional diversities, to renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women. We have to be, our duty is to promote harmony. Harmony means smooth living among the people. Okay, and we have to develop a sense of common brotherhood. That is why in our pledge itself we say, all Indians are our brothers and sisters. We need to develop a spirit of all the people around me are brothers and sisters only. And we should not have any discrimination based on religion or based on the language that they speak, based on the region that they live. And particularly, we should not act against, there should not be any activity which spoils the dignity of a woman. So, all these should be promoted. If any person is causing a damage to the dignity of a woman, we have to be there to promote harmony and see that is wrong, and it has to be renounced. The wrong practice has to be abolished. The value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture. See, when we talk of our culture is a composite culture, because India is divided into so many states and each state has got different culture. So, as such, when we take Indian culture, it is a composition of so many mixed cultures. It is a composite culture we have. So, we need to protect our culture, the rich heritage, whatever we have got inherent in our country. to protect and improve the natural environment including forests, lakes, rivers, wildlife, and have compassion on living creatures. Not only on human beings we should show our compassion and empathy, we have to be good towards the living creatures, whether it can be wildlife or it can be forests. Okay, we need to protect our forests, we should not damage the forest, we should not spoil the rivers, lakes, wildlife. Next is to develop a scientific temper, humanism, and the spirit of inquiry and reform. See, everyone, inside everyone, we should have a temperament of learning. The scientific temper should always be there. That is, we need to always keep on researching and finding some new inventions. Always we should have a sense of learning temperament, a scientific temperament inside to learn more. And we should have a spirit of inquiry, keeping on inquiring what is next, what is the reason for that. Okay, all those should be there. That is also our duty, to safeguard public property and to abjure from silence. So it is our duty to see that what the public property is our country's property. We should not damage that. Okay, and to abjure from violence. We should we have to be away from. We should not involve in violent activities in such a way that we damage the public properties. To strive towards excellence in all the spheres. Everyone's aim should be towards excelling in which all aspects, in all aspects. Okay, it should be, can be individually, or we can do all these excellence in a collective manner. Okay, thereby taking our endeavors and achievements to the higher level. Last one is to provide opportunities for education by the parent and the guardian to their child or ward up to the age of 14. Last one is till age of 14. Everyone should be given the right to get educated. Okay, it is the right of the parent to see that their child is educated. It is the right of the guardian to see that that child is getting educated at least till the age of 14. They have to have school education. So these are the fundamental duties. It is a 5-mark answer. Okay, quite an important topic. You have to learn it without fail. So each individual should have towards his country, his or her country. With this, I shall finish today's topic. Okay, and the homework for you will be, we have got quite a more number of questions are there. I shall just give you the homework in the audio session. Okay, tomorrow I shall give you the homework, children. Okay, thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.